Hey, Marvel Strike Force. I want to go in and talk about a couple things today. We've got events starting today for the week. We've also got a Strike Spot video talking about the Age of Annihilus, which I think is pretty cool. We'll go in and talk about all of this stuff and what it all means, what you should be doing right now, and kind of hit on a few things. As you can see in this event, this is the new leaderboard event going on right now, and they switched it from skill gear in the blog to tech gear. So that's a huge thing. If you want to push tech gear, you can. However, I'm kind of weary about pushing this. Um, they've got this requirement for the Daredevil Modern Orb that they're going to sell us again. So that's 15 bucks if someone wants to get free leaderboard points. Might be pretty easy. Also, might be a good place to look for leaderboard points. So just a heads up. We've also got a power core part in this. It's going to have the sword satellite, so you got to push to the top of the sword satellite. You've also got to spend power cores. It also wants us to use Silver Sable and Daredevil at 5-star. So with all of that in there, there's a lot of things that make it, if you're not a core spender or if you're not a character unlocker at 5-star plus, you're at a very big disadvantage for this leaderboard. So careful is what I'm going to tell you. It's not a bad leaderboard. You know, if you can place in the 4 or 5,000, you might be able to get a diamond for that character. You might be able to, if you want to, you got to be top 1,000. So that's pretty rough. So start looking at that. How can you improve in this and push up? But even if you don't, I mean, it's still pretty good rewards. I mean, that still gets you about a character at 4,000. So that's not bad. Um, and if you've been like me, you've already been buying tech gear because they didn't tell us that this was coming. Now, with Silver Sable, I am thinking about waiting on her. As you'll see, I've got the Daredevil offer up. I talked about this offer in depth in my last video. Um, and I just don't think characters 1 and 2 of new teams is really worth it right now with how they're releasing teams because the team isn't usable until character 5 comes out. So I'm thinking about not buying Silver Sable until her offer comes out, and this offer usually comes out about 5 to 7 days after the character releases. It might be the following Friday. I'm not sure. If that's the case, then it would be after this event. But I generally don't unlock them at 5-star anyway, so it doesn't really affect me. And it doesn't really change anything. So just some food for thought for you guys. You guys push this event as hard as you want to. I'm not going to be pushing it super hard. I don't think it's worth it. And we're going to jump back in game and take a look at the rest of the events. We've also got this Crimson Storm happening again. We were able to 100% this last week, as long as everyone is claiming the rewards inside the online store. So make sure you're doing that. That's extra X coins. It's got some pretty good stuff at the end. So make sure you're doing that. And I want to talk about this one, the Cataclysm completion event. I've still done nothing, but as you can see, I didn't have the dot on the map. I could have gotten it. There's things to claim in here that's power cores and the Kraken crystals. They lowered this thing significantly, so we should get all these power cores. I have a feeling that they've calculated out that we should get this done. Again, I'm still at 0 points. I don't plan to do that event. I don't like it. I don't like the rewards, and so that's kind of where I'm at. But it's free stuff, so make sure you're clicking on it and claiming that. I expect that they'll probably add some more stuff to the command center, so pay attention to that. We probably, you could potentially need stuff to get the Silver Sable stuff. I expect they'll probably add some stuff for the Vigilantes again this week. This all resets, so make sure you're using that again. So we'll pay attention to that. The only other things I really wanted to talk about is I'm still slow burning the Vigilante team up. As you can see, Punisher's 103, Daredevil's 85, Silver Sable's at 0, so I'm not working super hard at them, so just there's that. Let's go take a look at this Age of Annihilus video and see what we think of it. We'll make it full screen and check it out. Boom, bum, bum, bum. I'm terrible at this, so let's
Greetings,
go.
Commanders. My name is Pathfinder, and I'm excited to share that starting today, we're going to be having a 3-part Strike Spot miniseries on the next age of Marvel Strike Force. We're going to have a video today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and we're going to be answering questions on Discord, Reddit, and Facebook. for all the
So
things
we've
that
got
you might
three
have
videos
wanted.
today,
And
and
we'll
then we
wrap
got a
things up on Friday
Q&A
with a
on
live stream with
Friday.
our general
So that's
manager,
good to
Ryan
know.
Jacobson, where we're going to answer as many questions as possible from you. We'll also try to answer some questions live.
It also looks like that's our first look at Annihilus, and I'm not very excited about him. I don't really know the character. I know he's got like a big story in like the Void Zone and stuff, but I really don't know him or who he's even against or what he even does. But to me, he just kind of looks like robot Green Goblin, and I don't really like. I think Green Goblin looks better, so I don't know. We'll see.
We're going to repeat these things a few times throughout these videos just to make it clear, because there's a lot of information and you're not going to want to miss any of it.
A lot of
So
information,
strap
okay?
in and let's kick off the next stage in Marvel Strike Force. All right, well, welcome everyone to this mini series that we're calling a new age of MSF. We have back again RJ, General Manager of Marvel Strike Force. You
Okay.
recognize him from our last time we did this, and we're back. We got a lot of things going on, and I wanted to ask first and foremost on how are you feeling about how things have been lately? Last few months up to this point.
Let's see what he
I think
says.
they've been great. I mean, of course, with the 7th-year anniversary,
I think he and I might have different definitions on great, but let's see what he says.
I'm pretty excited that we're finally, putting that to rest, so to speak, or it's kind of the conclusion of that is happening right now. But overall, I was really happy with the anniversary. What we call our 9.0 release, right, was pretty action-packed in terms of a lot of new features going into the game, still a lot more work for us to kind of get some of those things.
So they had their 9.0 release, and I'm not very excited about it. We got the overpower system, which looks absolutely horrible in every shape and form, and we've talked about it in depth on this channel. We think that it might even kill light and medium spending. It's going to make punching up near impossible. It's not doing good things for the game. It makes you have to max characters out. So that one I'm not excited about. We did get the new raid, which I do really love, but it came with piles and piles of bugs, which wasn't great. We did get some cool costumes, so that was cool. We ended up getting some Twitch drops, and none of the events felt super like over the top crazy for being an anniversary thing. It really kind of felt like a normal month to me. Um, we saw a nerf to the battle pass rewards immediately afterwards, which felt terrible. Um, so I don't know what they really think this is good. We got our last two teams that we've gotten have been terrible. We have Starjammers who was unplayable. We got the nerfs to the Cosmic Crucible rooms. We've gotten Vigilante who, as you saw just recently, I haven't even built. So let's keep going. I don't agree with what he's saying right now.
Where we would like them to be, but I'm really excited for Command Center. Global milestone events have been great for us.
I do like the command center. The command center has been pretty good, but it still feels clunky. Like things keep appearing in there there's no like, hey, by the way, this is coming up. It's just like, hey, here's new things you got to check on every day, and you got to click through more stuff. So I hope that eventually the milestones just phases out and everything's in the command center, and we have like a, hey, you can expect this stuff to pop up on Sunday kind of thing.
So yeah, it's been a busy few months, I would say, and it's about to get a little bit busier, but overall, I'm really happy with the direction and where we're going and everything that's going on inside of the game right now.
I wonder what they think's coming up that they need to get busier, because I don't feel like we've been busy so far. Like, the game needs progression right now so bad. It needs new elements, new systems, and I really hope that roguelike mode's it, and I don't know.
Awesome. Well, we talk about a new age coming to MSF, but we don't just mean the age of annihilus. It kind of has a double meaning. Do you want to talk about what that double meaning is and how it's going to look?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it, right, in kind of one of the strike spots. I don't think, because we haven't really told the community what that age actually means yet. I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, they do ages all the time. This isn't really that exciting. I don't know why he's so excited about this new age.
That's kind of how I feel. I mean, we had Age of Apocalypse and Age of X, and neither of them felt like anything substantial. Age of Apocalypse felt much more meaningful in the game than Age of X did. we had things that we were working towards the entire time and building, and it felt like it was progression the entire way. Age of X really didn't feel like that. Age of X, it feels like we just kind of marked something on a picture every once in a while, and eventually we had a big character release, but it really wasn't anything crazy.
Um,
Like even Lilandra, I don't think she felt like a legendary character. She still doesn't feel like anything crazy.
but I think we look back and we learned a lot from the Age of Apocalypse, right? I think there was a lot of things that the game did really well. Some of the things that I think we learned from the community in terms of them not really loving being forced to kind of really power up specific teams.
I agree with this, but I think it's actually gotten worse recently in a little bit different light. So we went from Age of Apocalypse where you had to build like these very specific teams to unlock each horseman. Like you had to build like 3 teams for each horseman member, and some of them got very dated very fast, which was really the big problem with that. During the time, it wasn't that big of a deal because that was the current thing. But when you went back to it like years later, like because that's what I had to do. I had to go get Apocalypse after the fact, and it felt terrible because you couldn't keep up with new characters and build old characters at the same time, and it felt really bad to leave new characters in the dust. But in the same light, where we're at now, it doesn't feel like we even get a choice anymore. It feels like you build every character to the moon or you're behind. Whether that's Starjammers or Vigilante, or because they make these events that require them at max at purple ISO 3, G19, maybe G20, 105. They're requiring them at the very tippy top to be able to do anything because they don't want us to skip anything, even if they're bad characters. You know, we used to have points where you would actually have progression in this game, and it just doesn't feel like there's progression anymore. It just feels like you just max whatever it comes out, and that's what you do.
Unlock legendaries, and then I would say, the Age of Mephisto kind of came and went and really didn't deliver the bang that
I didn't even know Mephisto was an age.
I guess I was hoping for, and I think even with Age of X, we're learning some things that we could just do a little bit better job of, and kind of creating the story arc, the narrative around the age, and just
That's what they did well with Apocalypse. Was the story? The story was cool.
doing things differently, and I think.
And speaking on Age of Apocalypse, I'd love to see the Four Horsemen get back into the meta. I think they are 4 characters that should not be going away. They are just fun characters.
This age, the Age of Annihilus, is gonna be pretty shocking to the community in terms of we're doing a pretty much a complete overhaul on the way that the game works and is gonna kind of operate for the next year. And I
Good. The game needs a complete overhaul. There's nothing good going on right now. I literally right now I play the game for 10 minutes a day, and I close the game. I log in at specific times just to collect stuff, but there's nothing to do. I don't look at the shops. I sim the raid nodes. I don't. There's no PvP to do. Like I don't know what we're doing. There's nothing to collect. You've seen my screen. I have like 300 million
think
gold.
all of the things that we're about to talk about, in these next little few mini segments, are really beneficial to all player types. And
With them saying that, I really get excited for what the next ones will be. What are they going to tell us about?
that's what we're really trying to achieve, is to make this game really fun and engaging again for everyone.
Yeah, that's
When they say fun and engaging, I really hope that they're talking. They bring back theory crafting a little bit. Like that's the thing that I feel like they are killing right now. They are absolutely murdering it with a blunt weapon right now. They murked the Crucible rooms. They're making 5-man teams that are required. There's no customization to our characters. There's just nothing. It feels like we are so in a prescribed swipe your credit card twice a week.
really great to hear. So, for the players that may or may not know who Annihilus is, can you give us a little bit of lore about him? How does he fit into Marvel Strike Force?
Yeah, for those who've never seen Annihilus, first and foremost, he's a bad little dude. You know what I mean? I'm
He
trying
just-
to not.
He
not
looks
say a
cool.
profanity,
I don't like
but
him. I don't know.
He's a rad-looking villain. He is.
Man, I don't know what to
the
think of him.
ruler of the negative
He looks
zone.
kind of
He
like a
uses the
Green
cosmic
Goblin
rod to
warlock.
kind of control all the inhabitants.
Okay, this screen is cool. I hope that we get this as a playable stage. That looks neat, and that looks like they've already kind of made it to be like a backdrop playable stage. I just hope that that's something that happens.
Inside of the negative zone. He's definitely ties very well into the Fantastic Four. I would say that. And there's a lot of hype going on right now around that.
I would love to see the Fantastic Four reworked. None of the Fantastic Four members are good right now, so that would be really cool, whether it's new members or whatever it might be. I think some of them are cool. I hope we get like the evil Sue. That would be cool. The evil Invisible World or Invisible Woman. That would be neat.
Group, and so we felt like it would be a great time to bring him into the game.
Now, one thing I do want to talk about with that is, and I've already kind of spoken on it in some other videos, is I hope we get in this age better rework characters than we currently are getting, because the reworks we've been getting need to be new characters. They need to be complete remakes of the character, not this whole I update your stats, leave you at 110 speed, and that old Gen 1 character does nothing. And that's what the Fantastic Four needs. They need a complete remake of the character.
There's also some other, characters that play well and tie well into annihilus that we will be using as kind of legendary characters throughout the year. So yeah, I'm really excited to bring him into the game, and again, I think he's one of those really super cool looking guys.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I've been doing a little bit of reading as far as comic books go since learning about this announcement, and I would encourage anybody in the community, if you don't know who Annihilus is, definitely look him up.
I definitely don't know who he is.
Really a true bad guy in the Marvel Universe, if you know what I mean. You talk a little bit about what we've learned in previous ages, and I think for me specifically, the Age of Apocalypse comes to mind on what a true age was. I think some players will be a little leery of that. So
I think they've learned from that already. That's why they've adjusted the Apocalypse Saga. So I'm not that worried about that.
In a good way.
And I dealt with the bad part of it, so I understand that it's not great.
Yeah, like I said a second ago, I think we learned a lot from the Age of Apocalypse. I think there were a lot of great things about that age, but then also when we looked back and kind of a lot of the mirror matches, kind of the teams that we were forcing, a lot of our users to build up that maybe they didn't necessarily want to. We don't.
Yeah,
want that,
I agree.
Right? We want players to have more kind of choice and agency.
Well, and to do that, they need to do that in the entire game, not just this age stuff. They need to get enough progression in the game that we can have choice, and that's where the game needs to get back to.
And what they can do inside of the game. And so I think learning from some of those past kind of mistakes, but also looking at how can we make this even better than the Age of Apocalypse, right? What could we do to make it really sing and really resonate with the community? And I think that's where we're going to be making some pretty big changes.
Progression. Add farmability, add things that we want to do in game to collect. This is a collection game. Make things that I want to collect in game.
Right, to the way that kind of the legendary characters are going to work, the way that the shops are going to work, the way that you're going to earn currencies for.
Wait, we have shops in this game? Since when? I haven't looked at them in a year. We need shops. We need shops that have stuff we want. We need things that aren't overpowered. We need a progression system. We need something that we want to collect, whether it's gear or this new type of whatever, diamonds, rainbows, I don't care. Just add something that we want to collect and work on, want to view the shop every day. Like, I'm collecting resources. I shouldn't have millions of every resource in the game. We have dark diamond monopoly money, like because there's nothing in the game to use it on.
For the shops, there's just a massive overhaul that we are about to do to the game, and the next year, what we call an age, right? I feel like when we look back on this age, the Age of Annihilus, we're also going to learn a lot and probably make some tweaks to the next stage. But I think overall, this is the structure that I know the game really needs and kind of wants. And so I think a lot of players are going to be very excited when they kind of see this rollout.
Awesome. Well, I think that kind of leads us into the end of this first segment, at least. So, what are we going to talk about tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to start talking about legendary characters. We're going to go.
I don't know who they're going to talk about for legendary characters.
Unlock that character, how you're going to power them up, and then we're going to go into some stuff around shops and currencies. there's a lot for us.
I hope when they talk about shops and currencies, they're also going to talk about a new power progression system because without that, I just don't think they can make shops valuable. Because right now, most our shops are 2 or 3 progression paths behind, and they just feel completely worthless. And I don't even think current progression would be good enough because we have piles of everything. Everything that's not G20, we have piles of it.
To talk about in the next couple of days, but I would say, for the overall, hopefully people start to get really excited about what we're about to do with the Age of Annihilus.
Not
Thanks,
yet.
Ryan.
I feel
And
like this is the
as a
teaser of the
reminder,
teaser.
this is video one in a three-part mini-series about the new age in MSF. Today's video one, and there's going to be another video tomorrow, and then a third and final video on Wednesday. We'll also have a Twitch stream on Friday. Just want to make sure that everyone is informed of what's going on throughout this week, as we are going to give you a lot of information. We're going to be answering a lot of questions on that stream on Friday, so don't miss it. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right. Well, I think that was a pretty cool video. I think the best things I took out of it is hopefully there is going to be new progression coming to Marvel Strike Force, and it's going there. Hopefully, it's going to be shop reworks. I think having a theme is great. I don't know much about Nihilus, but people say he's good, so cool. Overall, I think this is a kind of a reaction to some of the community's sentiment around the Marvel Strike Force right now, and I really hope it's moving in a good direction. And I hope that we are going to see more theory crafting, more collection type stuff, more things to work on for Marvel Strike Force, and the game gets a little more depth involved. I think right now we are severely lacking depth. We're severely lacking theory crafting. We're severely lacking collection and chase mechanics. Um, and right now, I feel like it's very much we're on a treadmill, and it's not actually like going well right now. So hopefully it'll get better. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys love it? Where do you think we're going from here?